Hi, this is Master Cleveland of Classic Taekwondo. This video is more or less a follow up to the last one, which was about body targets. I didn't really go into so much into strikes themselves, it's just these were targets for strikes. This video, on the other hand, will cover the three basic types of strikes that you see in pretty much every martial art. Um, what you have first are distractions or stunning blows, things like slaps, um, pushes, things of that nature that basically stun a person into inactivity for a second, which is typically followed up by another strike, say an elbow, a fist, a punch, or in the softer systems or the throwing systems you look at like judo or jiu-jitsu, aikido, hapkido. You're looking at things like these strikes being used to then grab a wrist, grab a hand, joint lock, joint manipulation, take down a throw. These basically are the door opener, as I would call it. A stunning blow like a slap isn't meant to be the end be all end all unless you have some really heavy handed slaps. Most people, it's going to be like, wow, I've been hit. Then they have to process for a second what just happened. While that's happening, you follow up with whatever technique. Be it many of your hard systems, it's going to be yet another strike, but this time more forceful. In the softer systems, it might be a throw, a takedown of some sort, which moves into the second types of strikes, which I call precise applications of force. These are the ones that basically are like examples would be the arc hand or the tiger mouth, as they call it in some styles, to the throat. This is a precise application to get a precise reaction. A straight punch to the body. Again, it could be a short shot, but it's a precise application to a certain spot that's going to cause a certain reaction. Again, many times these are a bit more forceful, so there is the potential of ending the situation right there. However, if it doesn't, again, like the distraction, it causes an opening that could be exploited for a joint lock, takedown, throw, or a follow-up strike, which does the job, takes them out. The third types of strikes are the ones that people are most familiar with. What I call BFT, blunt force trauma. These are your strikes that are intended to damage or worse, to maim or kill, in such as it is. But the thing here is, with a distraction, you're looking to break a person's concentration, maybe get around their guard. A precise application goes straight through or past their guard. The blunt force trauma blow hits the guard. So if you're a Muay Thai practitioner, a Kyokushin Karate practitioner, a Taekwondo Tang Sudo practitioner, you're using those high power kicks and strikes to blast through the guard sometimes. So you don't, that arm is up there. You say, okay, fine. You put the arm in the way. Bam, you blast right through it. So you damage the block, the defense mechanism, and now you damage the target area. BFT is what people basically look to when you're looking at things like boxing, karate, Muay Thai, Taekwondo. You're looking at things like strikes that end fights. Every situation is different. Some situations don't require the high level of force. Sometimes that slap that distracts, and so you can grab a hand or a finger or something that you can manipulate, and the person's in pain, which is what you're trying to do. You're trying to inflict pain. If you have to do this, if you have to put your hands on someone in a combative or self defense scenario, inflict pain. I'm going to say it full stop. If you have to do it, inflict pain. You inflict pain, you can get away. You inflict pain, you can end the situation. Um, every art uses one or all of these type techniques in some capacity. Some of your more aggressive striking arts, like say, I'll take Muay Thai for instance. Most of the time, you're not looking to pick around a person's defenses. You're trying to blast through them. I know in styles like Kyokushin karate, you're attacking the limbs. You're attacking the defense. So if they put an arm up there, then that's too bad for them because you're blasting that arm, which won't be in the way when it drops and then they get hit in the body. That's basically BFT in a nutshell. Any art that's using just purely force to knock through a person's defenses, or any strike, I should say, not any art, because as I've said, there are subtle parts to every martial arts system. People will say an art like Aikido is useless. However, when you look deeper into that art, you find that there are what they call etemi, or vital point strikes, which often many times fall in one of two categories. They're either distractions that will create a situation where they can lock and throw an opponent, or getting them into a restraining hold where they're no longer a threat and you can control the situation, or a precise application of force, which causes enough pain to where the person either drops to the ground outright because there's just so much pain, or you grab a joint, an arm, leg, whatever's available, whatever's close, and you take this person down and take them under your control. Arts like Taekwondo, which they believe largely is just kicks and strikes, they sometimes in the older schools you'll find that there are joint locks. If a person looks at the forms, there's basically an entire menu of techniques. But again, you have to be looking for that. But getting back to the point, these types of strikes fall into purely self-defense scenarios. If you're just slapping a person, understand something. If you just slap somebody and that's it, they're coming back with something harder. But if you slap somebody, say you slap them across the face and then you dig into the eye, it goes from distraction to precise application. And it happens just like that. Most times, if you're going to use some kind of distraction, the distraction is to throw them off so that they don't see what's coming. A distraction can be used, and usually is used, before any precise application. Blunt force trauma, usually it's just bang, 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 bang. Although, like I said, these go as needed. When a person says things that certain arts aren't effective, you have to look through the entire thing. You have to look at what you're trying to achieve with each technique. If you're just trying to get a person off you, a distraction will do. If a person is a direct threat, then you might have to ratchet it up to say, okay, I'm going to hit this person right square in the below the sternum. In which case they're going to be distracted by the pain, where if it's a situation where you can leave, you just leave. But if not, there's like 2 or 3 other people, then I would probably take this person out. An elbow to the side of the head or a knee would do nicely. They'd be out. But only if you have to. The whole premise of technique is hopefully you don't have to use it. But if you do, hopefully this provides some kind of understanding as to what is available. And in the martial arts, there's so many things that are there that people don't pay attention to because they're looking at the flowers on the outside. You're not looking at what's on the inside. And for those out there who believe that, yeah, this isn't effective stuff for street fights, the goal isn't to get into a street fight. The goal is to, if you have to fight, you have to defend yourself, you're able to do enough so that when that escape route pops open, you leave quickly. Or if it's a situation where that's not possible, you do enough damage to the person that is the greatest threat to you fast, so that others who are observing understand that, yeah, there's going to be a price paid. And that basically concludes this. If there are any questions, feel free to leave comments in the blocks below. If you like what you see, leave a like. If you have a desire to see more, then by all means subscribe. And as always, more to come.